And in Berlin, I now welcome the First Minister of Scotland, Nicola Sturgeon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Lovely to join you.
Your visit in Berlin is kind of surprising. You're neither meeting Chancellor Merkel nor Vice-Chancellor Gabriel nor Foreign Minister Mr. Steinmeier. Do you feel welcome in Germany?
Absolutely. I've just arrived and so far feel very welcome. I have a meeting this afternoon with Minister Roth. It's a meeting to discuss my views on the recent referendum in the United Kingdom, my determination to protect the interests of Scotland as far as I possibly can, and of course to hear the views of Germany. So it's a meeting I'm very much looking forward to.
What do you hope for?
His views on the process that will now unfold and what happens next, the priorities that Germany may see, obviously, in very general terms at this stage. But just as was the case when I visited Brussels in the days after the European referendum, I'm keen to set out Scotland's interests and the concerns we have about the impact of leaving the European Union on our economy and our society, and the work that the Scottish Government is doing to seek to protect the interests of Scotland as far as we can.
Next year already there might be a new Scottish referendum for independence, right?
Well, no decision of that nature has been taken. Of course, it is one of the options that may be open to Scotland to protect our interests. There is a real concern, not just in Scotland, but in other parts of the UK, about the damage that leaving the European Union is going to do to our economy, to our society, to our culture, to our population. And therefore, one of the options that Scotland may want to consider is the option of becoming an independent country and seeking to remain a member of the European Union in that way. But let me stress that's only one option, and it's not my starting point in the various discussions that I'm having.
You have also said already that there might be a special way for you so that you might stay a member of the UK, but at the same time stay a member of the EU in spite of the Brexit. How's that going to work out?
Well, look, we're at a very early stage of these discussions. Remember that we don't yet have a situation where the Article 50 process has been commenced by the United Kingdom government. The United Kingdom government is still in the very early stages of setting out its own negotiating position. So we're at a very early stage, and the Scottish government is very anxious to be a full part of the discussions that will unfold in the months ahead. But the point I've made is that we're also in unprecedented circumstances. No country has ever tried to leave the European Union in this way, and therefore, because we're in unprecedented circumstances, we should be prepared to think about unprecedented solutions. And that's the spirit that I will have in any discussions.
But what
I'm
kind of
having.
solution would that be?
Of course, a situation that concerns our vital interests. We're already in the United Kingdom seeing the impact of this vote on jobs and investment. There's fears that that could become more severe in the months ahead. So as Scottish First Minister, and remember Scotland, a majority of people in Scotland who voted to stay in the European Union, I have a duty and a responsibility to seek to protect our interests as far as I can.
Do you really believe that the EU would like to have you? The Spanish already say that they're against it because they're afraid that the Catalans in their own country would do the same as you, would follow suit and separate from Spain.
The situation Scotland finds itself in is not going to be replicated elsewhere unless Spain suddenly decides it wants to leave the European Union, and I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So Scotland is in a unique position. The United Kingdom, of course, is in a unique position right now, and I think in these circumstances it's important to keep an open mind to possible solutions that might be possible. I don't suggest that any of these solutions will be easy or that there are any obvious ways forward at this stage, but I want to take the time and have discussions to explore what is possible. And in terms of the wider European Union, I would have thought, and certainly this is the view that I felt when I was in Brussels, I would have thought it was very positive for the wider European Union, for a part of the United Kingdom, if not the whole of the United Kingdom, to want to stay and continue to be part of the European family of nations.
Ms Sturgeon, let's go through this. Let's assume it works out. And in spite of the Brexit, the Scottish are allowed to stay in the EU. May all the millions of British who didn't want Brexit can come to you to exile?
Well, I've had expressions of interest from a few people saying that they would like to come to Scotland if that meant staying in the European Union. But look, that's obviously a light-hearted comment. I think it's a positive that Scotland, in spite of all of the many negative arguments that were brought to bear in the European Union referendum, I think it's a positive that Scotland, taking into account all of those arguments, voted by quite a significant majority to stay in the European Union. Now, some people in Scotland didn't. Quite a lot of people in Scotland voted to leave, and I respect their views and have got a job to do to work to understand and respond to their reasons. But a majority of people in Scotland who voted to stay in the European Union, to keep all of the benefits that come with that and to avoid the risks of leaving. Now, I can't pretend that unlike everybody else right now, I can see into the future and predict everything that's now going to happen. But I do know that I've got a duty to try to protect the interests of the country that I'm elected to lead as First Minister. And as I say, that's what I'm determined to try to do. And I want to do that working as far as I possibly can with others in the UK, but also across the European Union.
Thank you very much, Nicola Sturgeon,
Thank you.
First Minister of Scotland.